I don't even know how to start this. Look, I don't watch a lot of mainstream news. I don't really have the time, and tonight I didn't stop working until it was about 6:10, and I did start at probably around about 7:30 this morning. So, and this combined with the day on Tuesday where I had to get up at 4 and I didn't get to bed until about 8:30 has got me completely knackered, to put it mildly. So I'm very tired right now. But I was watching a video, one of the ones that I'm normally subscribed to, and I was sort of, while I was listening, and I was flicking down through the other videos that YouTube was recommending, and there was a pile of videos about the fuel crisis in Australia. Apparently 42 service stations in Sydney have had to, they've shut their doors because they just don't have any fuel. They don't have any unleaded, they don't have any diesel, they got no gas, they got nothing. So it's kind of not much point in sort of staying open. Now, admittedly, I mean, there's 300 service stations in New South Wales, or 3,000 or something. So 42 isn't a great deal, but, you know, I mean, I'm sure it's just a pain in the bum for most people. But yeah, the news, like I said, I haven't watched mainstream for probably a few days now, so, you know, I normally watch the news, but I can't even sit through that anymore. And they had a few government people who were rabbiting on, and apparently they're dipping into the strategic fuel reserves that Australia has, and dear Mr. Chris Bowen came out and made some mention about, you know, certain amount of 91 RON fuel, which is virtually unleaded. It's a pretty old sort of fuel. Most cars these days don't actually run on it, but, you know, okay, maybe it was just sitting in a tank and they needed to get rid of it somehow, so they released it. And then, of course, there was the arguments about, oh, but, you know, don't they realise Australia runs on diesel? You know, you need trucks, you know, you need harvesters, you need seeders, you need all this farming machinery, and even the diesel for the fisher people, you know, the fishermen. And considering Easter's coming up in about 2 weeks' time, most people go off and get seafood. And of course, seafood is gonna cost a bomb, because the fishermen are either simply not going out to catch fish, or they're running at a loss. Either way, don't expect your crayfish or your prawns to be cheap this Easter, because they're not going to be. And it's not just because of the Easter inflation, shall we put it. So, and God knows what's going to happen with the cost of fuel, because every time we have a 4-day long weekend around Easter time, the fuel normally goes up, but considering it's already up, how much more up can it get? So that's going to hit tourism, and, you know, I have a feeling a lot of people are just going to stay at home because they can't afford it. It's just a 4-day weekend where they don't go to work, but by the same token, they don't go anywhere else either. Unless they all go to the footy, you know, because let's face it, if you watch Channel 7 or Channel 9, that's all they talk about. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, they're sort of saying, yeah, we've got plenty, no problems at all, you know, no worries at all. Well, I don't know where they're getting it from. It certainly must be a pretty big hole in the ground, because most of it comes from the Middle East. Now, we don't refine fuel, not much, as I've said in a previous video, here in Australia. We got rid of most of them because we're going green and, you know, for the environment. So what happens? Well, crude oil gets shipped on tankers, taken to Singapore, where it runs through a refinery, and then it goes to I think it's Darwin, Sydney, and Perth. And I found that out when I was living in Darwin many years ago. So, you know, and all Australia does is virtually sends two boats. You know, one goes to Singapore, one's coming back and then they swap over basically. So if there's no crude coming out of the Strait of Hormuz and going to Singapore, what is Singapore actually refining for Australia again? Not a lot of them. Maybe it's just me. So yeah, this is going to get worse. A lot worse. So if you're not ready for it now, you better seriously consider getting ready for it. So yeah, the government are just idiots. Seriously, they're just, I don't know. I don't know how to put this. But yeah, I think at the moment, we've got to sort of start thinking about something different. Because yes, the cost of fuel has gone up. Yes, it's going to impact a lot of things. But more importantly, it's putting far, far more strain on families, your neighbours, people you meet in the street that you've never met before, you'll never meet again. Everyone is going to be on another level. Most will generally try and do outings to forget about things for a little while. Well, that's going to be a lot harder to do. So that strain where they were able to walk away from for maybe an hour or two is probably not going to be there. So it might pay to just check in with them every now and again. Say good day, have a beer with them, you know, have a few laughs, give them something they don't get. And a lot of us don't know our neighbours. I do. I live in a country town, so that helps. It doesn't mean you have to be in their back pocket every 5 seconds, but you know, just something to just take their minds away. You know, make them think of something else, make them laugh. You know, and even the people you meet in the streets. You know, I mean, you might do something as simple as accidentally bump into someone and they're going to go off like a rocket because they're already so much on edge. And just what I'm saying is just be mindful of everyone you meet, no matter whether you know them or not. Be nice to them. Say hello, good morning, smile. You know, say, oh, lovely shirt you're wearing today. You know, something just brightens their day up, even if it's only for 5 seconds. It doesn't matter. We've got to start thinking of ourselves as a society, and everyone is different. Everyone's in a different situation to you. Just because you're doing all right doesn't mean the person that you're going to bump into the street is doing all right. Maybe they're one fuel tank away from losing their house. I mean, you don't know. I just think, you know, with all that's going on at the moment, and it's going to get worse, we need to stop thinking about ourselves and start really considering how others are feeling, how others are coping. You know, let someone in. If you're driving and someone puts their indicator on, let them in and wave and smile. You know, it doesn't take much. No skin off your nose. You know, if somebody is sort of jiggly in a lineup, let them go first. I mean, what's it going to save you? 5 seconds? 5 minutes? It's not much, but to them, Who knows? They might need to go to the toilet and they've only just realised it while they're standing at the checkout. And you letting them in first has just made their day. Seriously made their day. It takes nothing to be nice. It really doesn't. And I think we really need to get back to that ideal where it doesn't matter who you are, who you meet, who you talk to. Just find something nice to say about them. Make their day. You do that 5 or 6 times, and the struggles that you're going through may not seem as bad because all of a sudden you feel better about yourself. You know, you've made them smile. You've made them laugh. You've done something for them that nobody else will. Not even the government. So, you know, just do that. And it doesn't cost you anything either. You know, a bit of time doesn't cost much. You wait longer on a Saturday morning with your shopping trolley looking at your phone. You know, just let someone else in. You know, if there's and it doesn't matter whether it's a bloke or whether it's a female. You know, just be nice. Doesn't mean you're flirting with them or doing something like that. I mean, it's ridiculous, you know. It's just, you're just generally being nice, and there's nothing wrong with that. Something to consider. Hope your day gets better. Hope your week gets better. Find the things that you enjoy doing and looking at. You know, even if it's standing outside as the sun goes down. Even if, you know, you get up and walk away from the TV and just go and stand outside and look at the stars. You know, maybe, you know, plant a plant. Plant a carrot or a tomato or something, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Just do something that, you know, takes your mind off and you don't have to think about it. You're just standing there looking at something. Your mind's probably racing, but after a while, the longer you stand there, you'll start calming down. Have a good day.